1, 2, 3.
Oh my gosh,
Why do you think
so wrong? The post tells you everything about the people. Who does that?
So we can screenshot it.
Right.
Like somebody's auntie all the time. I'm always posting mine. Oh, so do you want to ask? Hey guys, welcome to Unpacking with Charlie. It's your girl Charlie, and we've made it into a new year. I literally cannot believe it is 2023 and we are here. Well, like I said before, this year's going to be a little different because I kind of hit a lull with my podcast. Actually, I hit a very big lull where I was just like, I don't think I'm connecting to my stuff. And, you know, the girl is always having conversations with God, and God was like, take the people on a journey. What is it that I'm teaching you? You want to be open and transparent? Then let's do this. So this month we're talking about love because you know your girl is single. I'm going to say it again. The girl is still very much single in 2023. As of February 2023, the girl is still very single. So hit your girl up if you have any good prospects from the Lord. Because other than that, I don't have no foolishness this year, okay? I'm not doing it. But anyway, we are here to talk about love. And I'm super excited that this time I get to actually sit with some people that inspire me, have gathered me fully together, and help me see a different perspective on love. And I watch them and they're just women of character. So I'm super excited to have my girls on this podcast. Thanks, guys. Okay, so I'm freaking out right now, so I'm just gonna actually the thing is, like, I don't fangirl over like celebrities and stuff like that, but I definitely fangirl over my friends. Like I fangirl because y'all are killing it. So I'm gonna let them introduce themselves, and we're gonna start right here. What's your name?
Hey everybody, my name is Cherese Allen, and I'm an LPCA out of Katy, Texas, specializing in depression, anxiety, and everything life transition. So I'm happy to be here.
Yay! And who are you, Miss Fabulous?
Oh my God. My name is Crystal Perryman, and I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, as well as a certified life coach and certified Christian counselor as well.
Okay.
And I specialize in all things family, all things everybody, okay? And so that is what we're doing over here, all things life.
And who are you?
I am Tiffynee Terry Thomas. I am a clinical sexologist, a relationship coach, and a spiritual life transformational coach. I'm also the author of the best-selling book, Sis Is It You? And I specialize in couples, families, you, yourself, Mira.
That part.
And all things relating to a higher self-awareness and consciousness.
Man, okay, let me tell y'all. First of all, I was telling them off camera, I was telling you guys like off camera that like I had to pray. Because God was like, all right, we're going on this journey, but there's some people I want you to introduce to everybody. And I'm like, who? And when he gave me y'all's names, I was like, why? Like, what was I about to talk about? Because first of all, y'all have a way of just seeing through me, and I don't like that.
Oh, snap.
I don't like being clear. Like that's the most frightening thing is being vulnerable, right? Like it's easy to portray everything's good, but then it's like when someone actually sees you after you've been crying for someone to see you, you're like, dang. And to me, that is the truest expression of love, which is why I have you guys here, because in so many ways, and I'm not gonna cry in the first 5 minutes.
It's okay, we'll cry with you.
Yeah.
In the first 5 minutes, I'm not about to cry. Y'all give me in like 30. But it's weird how you don't realize the impact that you have on people's lives until, and some people don't get to come back and tell you, hey, you did that. And I wanted to have this moment with you guys to let you know before we get into the conversation. But so we're talking about love this month, right? And I know that you guys, I'm just, you know, I have my little moments of wisdom for the people, but you guys have studied love. You guys practice love on a daily basis. You guys, in your personal lives, have established or are on this journey of self-love. So you guys have tools in your toolkit. And I just want to know, like, how I guess my first question is, how did you get to the point where you realized that you needed to establish a toolkit for self-love?
Oh.
When was that first time?
Oh my goodness.
What was that?
A one-tool handyman.
Like, literally.
Oh God, that's a good question.
It is. I can't say I remembered the first time, but after hitting several walls of people taking advantage, me allowing people to take advantage of me and things of that nature, me taking advantage of myself, that's when I realized, girl, this ain't working. What you doing ain't working.
Okay, wait. When you say taking advantage of yourself, because we like to break it all the way down for people, because I want all the tea. What does that mean? Taking advantage of yourself. What does that example look like? Because I don't think people realize what that means. Like, we hear self-sabotage, but we don't really talk about what self-sabotage really is.
Oh my goodness. So literally when you're thinking of the moment of, I have this thing, I've been given gifts, I have these talents, I know what I can be doing or should be doing, but I'm going to do this anyways, or God will specifically say, you need to be doing this, and you go and do something else because it's safe, or it's content, or it's it feels better, it's not as scary, and so you're taking advantage of what it is that you're actually, like, I took advantage of myself by not really allowing myself to live.
Wow.
And so I became the shell of myself existing, not living, because I was safe to be over here. I didn't want to be like, it just feels more safe when you don't have to do all the things and whatnot. So, I think for me, I have one of the best smiles ever. I can light up the room. And when I you got that Southern girl smile. It's like, hey guys. Right. And so, but there were a lot of times the smile was just literally a shell. And so when I say take advantage of myself, it's allowing myself to be put in places where you knew you shouldn't have been, saying yes when you should have been saying no, honoring what God really put inside you and doing what you were supposed to be doing instead of saying, okay, I don't think I'm ready, or I need this to be able to be ready, or I need that. You're taking advantage of that. Like your whole self is not yourself.
Yeah.
Like you're not being. Am I making sense?
No, girl, look.
No, absolutely.
And so that's what I would say.
Anybody else?
I would think, even as you're talking and you say take advantage, I think of advantage as getting ahead, right?
Yeah.
And when someone takes advantage of me, they take me to a position in life that I'm not supposed to be at.
There you go.
And so,
rushing your process.
right?
Yes.
Rushing your process.
That's so good.
And
So
then
good.
thinking about it as God says, I go ahead of you. If he didn't go ahead of you in that moment, right, it's not protected. I can't order your steps. Those weren't ordered. So when I allowed somebody to take advantage of me or allowed myself to take me, I advantaged myself, advanced myself to another level where I knew I wasn't really competent and ready to be.
Love that part.
And for me, that's hilarious that you say that, because it was the same thing when I recognized that I was broken, but needed to look down at the pieces to see that they were broken. Because a lot of times you see something broken and you say, I'm just going to go replace it. I'm going to buy something new, right? But the way God wants you to do is to put you back together, because now he's got to put his adhesive, his bond
That's right.
to make sure that the things are together, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, that's when I recognized that I needed love, and not just any love, but agape.
Yes.
Right?
Unconditional.
Father's love, God love, right? Not the other ones that I was searching for, like friendship and stuff like that. And I think it's philia, and then and then the brotherly love, and then a romantic love. All those loves I was searching, but God was saying, I am one. I'm number one. And with that, I can actually show you how to not obsess and idolize over those loves, because then you don't recognize that you are getting into either wanting to be really accepted by your family, really accepted by your friends, or really accepted by the person that screwed you. And so recognizing that and then saying, okay, but God's saying, but where do you need me at? Where do you see that I need to place my love on you before you can give it out to others?
So good. So
Come
good.
on.
Look, I feel like past the plate already. What about you, Cherese?
You know what? I am going to piggyback off of these beautiful ladies. Like, for me, when I was heartbroken, when I experienced my first heartbreak,
Wow.
you know, and it took me to a place, I'm gonna be honest, of depression.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I had to reflect, and instead of putting the blame on him and what he did to me, God showed me myself.
Yeah.
And I recognized areas in my life that needed to change, whether that be self-esteem, you know, seeking love from other areas, and recognizing that God is the only one that can fill every void in my heart and
Yeah.
show me the true love and what it really looks like.
So
And
good.
then I can go outwardly.
Man, it's so funny that you said that, because I was reflecting on, because y'all know I'm single, and so I was reflecting on the younger version of me. Then I recently I went on a date, and so we were having a conversation about, you know, what was your last relationship, and we love to talk about like the things that we've experienced, and I started to realize I was like just kind of rehashing some lessons that I learned from my younger self in my last serious relationship. And I was like, man, like I really did not love myself, but I kept trying to pull so much out of him, and I kept saying, you're not giving me enough, and then I would do the whole like, I'm not good enough for you. But then it's like, he's like, but wait, but you're saying that you're not good enough for me, but then at the same time you keep pulling it from me, saying that whatever I'm giving you is not enough. And I was like, I wasn't in love with myself. And so it wasn't until recently in my therapy journey that I was like, dang, like I was talking to my therapist after my date this past week, and we were having a conversation just about like self-love, because I'm on this I'm really trying to figure me out, and we were just rehashing out the whole I really kept trying to dig into someone else and pull out all of the things that were already inside of me that I needed. And it wasn't even necessarily like a me-centered thing. It was like I was trying to pull out of him the things that God put inside of me that he wanted to see out of me, but I was trying to get it out of somebody else. And so that's when I was like, okay, I talk about like having these, you know, spa days and working out, and that's another reason why I'm like, dang, I can't get this weight off, because my mind is still exterior based, and it's not internal based. So when you guys said that, I'm like, okay. And so I'm throwing myself ahead into a relationship that I was not prepared for, and just now really starting to get ready for, because things had to click. And then I had to really like let go of some things that kept putting me back into like some psychological, you know, cycles of just depression and things like that. So all of those points, they hit so close to home, which is why I think that having a more mindful conversation about love is so needed. I don't know, when you guys were growing up, did you ever have any conversations with like your mentors or your parents about love? Like, especially like growing up in like Christian homes, was it ever a conversation about love? What love really is? Just love Jesus. Did we ever have a conversation about love?
Not in my immediate family, no. And that is such a great question, because that's something I actually implement in my family, because that's important to me. But no, I can say we did not actually talk. It was more so like a thought thing. Like, you just know you love your family, and then we had like marriage retreats and stuff at the church and stuff, so they would teach about that type of. But we've talked about this before, how it's been tight-lipped about love, sex, all that. It's like, ooh, we don't talk about that. We don't do that, you know. But it should have been way more.
Yeah, like what love really is, like the concept of love and how to put love in action. I feel like I would have prevented a lot of things in my life had love been a conversation, as much as don't have sex was a conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
Because don't have sex was like
everybody's conversation.
Don't get knocked up, don't have sex, don't let nobody touch you.
Right.
True love waits.
Yeah, And so you put all this emphasis into the fantasy, and you put no emphasis in the reality of what love is. Okay, so we agree we didn't have the conversation.
Well, I was actually going to say to you that, interestingly enough, that when you talk about your family and love, what I feel like our families did, especially in Black families, was they attach wrong definitions to words.
Ooh,
That's
so
right.
okay.
So
That's right.
wrong definitions to words.
Absolutely.
And so then we're experiencing words off of our experiences and moments and stuff like that, right? And then a belief system that has been fed to us. And so for me, love was commitment. Love was obedience, right? Because that's what I'm only whooping you because love was discipline,
so it
right?
becomes conditional.
Love was fear. And so you had all these definitions attached to this word. And then as you're talking about, you're asking for something, right? And you're not really understanding the fuel that your vehicle needs to get you to where you need to go.
Girls asking for diesel, and I'm an unleaded.
Right?
I'm unleaded. What?
And I think we just get fed by anything when we are open to knowing that it helps us just get somewhere. Just like food. Like you'll eat junk food and not realizing that it's a empty fuel. Right?
Yeah.
But same thing with love. You'll have sex thinking that it will replace intimacy.
That's right.
And so it's empty fuel because sex is like sand. It's literally gonna funnel through you quickly.
I like that you actually said that though. And what I just thought about was because sex was such a taboo thing, we went on an exploration of sex and not on an exploration of self. And so because we discovered sex before self, it becomes very tainted. And like you said, if you go ahead of a thing before it's time, it can get really messed up. And if you don't have the right words for it, and the real definition for the right word, then of course, like your perspective on it is just totally screwed.
Everything.
And I think that's how the enemy works. To pervert things. Because to pervert means to distort, to twist, right? And so it's to let me give you something that's so tantalizing and engaging and rewarding, instant gratification, right? To throw you off the scent of what God is really trying to get from you. It's for me to cover you in my love, but no, I'm actually going to let you seek out other people and try to get it to actually get you to the place. Because some of us are determined to get to where we want to go, right? So it's like, oh, I'm going to get there, but then it's what we take to get us there. And so it's like, as I get there, I'm low, I don't feel good. I get there and I don't have enough confidence. I don't feel validated. So now when I'm on top, I'm needing 25,000 likes to make sure that what I said was, oh, God really gave it to me.
Did it do it? Did it?
Right? Did it hit? Was that a hit?
Was that a hit or not?
So I think that's a big issue for us.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I was going to add to that. One of the things I like to tell my clients a lot is to search your subconscious thesis. Everybody knows what a thesis is, the main idea of the paper. And a lot of times we think that our conscious mind is what drives our thoughts and actions, but it's not. It's your subconscious. It drives your thoughts and actions. And so a lot of the times we build this subconscious thesis, and every action and thought is funneled through that.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah. So if you say, in your subconscious, I'm unworthy. Everything you hear, every interaction, that's your subconscious thesis. Everything you do will be funneled through that whole thought process. And so learning these definitions younger, wrongful definitions and stuff, we have this subconscious thesis of what love is and what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And if it's wrong, of course, everything's funneled through that, and we just keep gaining these new experiences thinking that, okay, yeah, I'm going to do it right this time. Girl, we got to change that. We got to change the
It's here.
Right, it's here.
Yeah. What were you going to say?
I think for myself, I was raised in a household that my parents discussed love.
Yeah.
But I got impatient.
Yeah.
And so I settled in situations that I should not have been in.
Wow. That's real. What made you impatient?
My desire for marriage.
So let's talk about that.
That makes sense.
No, because I want to talk about this. No, I really want to talk about this. Like, what was it? What was the desire for? Was it for the partnership? Was it just for like the status? What was it?
It was for the partnership. Like I've seen my parents. My parents have been married now for 39 years.
Yes.
Going on 40 years this year in July.
Yeah, same for my parents. I think ours got like married around the same time. Yeah.
Nice.
It literally was a lineup. They all got married
All
around the
of
same
them.
time.
In church.
I love it.
Back to back.
Back to back, literally.
Yeah, that generation, they got married young anyways. But based off of, what I saw through my observational lens, my family, my parents, my uncles, aunts, seeing their relationships develop, you know, that was always like in my forefront. Like, hey, you know what? I want to be married too one day. I want to build an empire. I want to have my own kids, my own family, and stuff.
We do all the things.
Yeah, we do all the things.
Okay.
So I had my standard, you know,
Yeah.
of what I needed to go for, and you know what was a good quality guy for me. And so since they weren't meeting the standard, it was like, okay, well maybe I need to maneuver some things around. But that got me into a horrible position of heartache. Yeah.
Wow.
So I had to learn to become content with where I am and with self, and be okay with being alone. And really learning that self-love in my 20s. I'm in my 30s now. I know I look young, but I got more experience on it.
She don't look her age.
She said, in my 20s, I was searching. In my 30s, I shall be found. Okay.
Oh my gosh, I love
I'm finally in the 30
it.
club too, girl, so I feel you. I'm right there. I'm finally in the 30 club, so I feel it. Yeah.
I love it.
No, but I think what is so crazy is that we can all have very similar experiences and come from different backgrounds when it comes to just our matriculation in love.
Right.
What has been the most challenging truth that you've had to find about the reality of where you stand in your relationships? Like, what has been the most challenging realization that you've had as you've gotten to the points where you're at in your careers? Now that you've had the classes, now that you have done the research, once you shut the door and you're no longer with your clients and you're with yourself, what has been the most challenging truth about where you are just in, or where you have been in your perspective on like love and how you were just doing your relationships? Like, for example, I know Tiffynee, you and your daughter, you have been having these conversations about you as a mother.
Yes.
When did that reality hit you on the dynamic that you had with your children?
When she told me I was a liar.
You're a liar.
When she actually, we had a conversation, I think she was like 12. My kids were super honest with me, and I'm very blessed to
You're
have.
the coolest kids.
Thank you. To
Yeah.
have kids that really put a mirror in your face, like, no, sis, it's you. You're the problem.
Yeah. You wrote the book.
Right.
It's
You wrote the book. It's you. They are the key
the
inspirations of that. But really, what it was we had a conversation, and she said, "You say you're going to do something, and then you only do it to the level of your mood. And so, if your mood changes, your word changes."
Oh, my
And I was like, "Okay." And I was like, "Okay." And she was like, "And I'm sorry, I'm just being honest with you." And I said, "But you're right." And so, as we got there, I had to work on my relationship with her, because even like when it came to getting advice from friends, this is in the book, or she didn't even want advice from my friends because she's like, you don't even know how to handle friendships. Like, you do them wrong. And I watch people hurt you. But then moving it into my relationship with my husband, I've had to now show her what my mother didn't show me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like honesty, right? Coming down and saying, hey, I'm crying. And maybe they're not tears of sadness, maybe they're tears of joy, right? It's creating a love, a deep sense of affection for her, right? And that means I'm fond of how she feels. I'm fond of how her experiences are. I don't want her to live in a life of relational ignorance, where she lacks information about what really happens and transpires in a healthy relationship, right?
Right.
Like, I be throwing that ass in a circle, but then can't stand him some days, right?
So I'm be confused. Mama be putting it down, but then some days I be like, that's how you got here. But some days I don't be with that man. Get him out of here.
But I have to show her, like, what that looks like, and even just being honest in her mistakes and stuff like that, right? Like, I remember one time her room was messy, and I told her she wasn't going to the game if her room wasn't clean. So she left house, didn't think her room was going to get didn't think she was going to come home to go to the game. Comes home to find her room clean, and was like, wait, what happened? And I'm like, she's like, I didn't deserve this. I said, you didn't, but that's what grace and mercy looks like.
Ooh.
Because I wanted
Yeah.
you to go to the game.
Yeah.
I don't want you to miss out on things.
Right.
And I also knew that she couldn't clean her room because she didn't have the mental capacity to do it, right?
Okay, can we talk about that? 'Cause you're not gonna rush past that.
That part.
It's so crazy that you said that, and I don't know if you've seen this with your clients. Because I know when I'm in therapy, I'm like, I don't have a capacity, and my therapist is like, tell people.
Yes.
Yes.
Literally.
But growing up, I can speak for my mother, and I love my mom. That's my girl. Hey, girl, I love you. but my mom did not. Oh, that's my Dropbox. Okay, girl, I thought it wasn't recorded.
No, it
I'm
is.
so
I
sorry.
had checked earlier.
Okay. I was like,
I
oh
was
god.
joking.
I love my mom. That's like, she's my girl. The only thing is, it wasn't until last year was my mom able to hear, I don't have the capacity. No, I'm not gonna say last year, 2020. My mom, you're not supposed to be going nowhere during the pandemic, but I was like frequently to my mom's house, and then she would stop by. And I just had a moment where I just could not clean my closet. And I'm like, I couldn't, because mentally I wasn't here. I didn't have it. I couldn't see organization. I didn't even see that I had a mess, honestly. Because I'm focused on all of this mess. I don't really see what's going on over there.
Right.
And so for you to be able to have the understanding, I need you to understand what you are going through, and I need you to find the words to give that to me. That is a beautiful love expression, because like you said, in Black families, we don't leave space. We think it's just disobedience.
Right.
We think it's you being lazy, stubborn, and a lot of times we don't realize that we do this external bullying kind of thing where it's like, you just don't want to do, you just don't want to. No, I literally can't do it today. So I'm happy that you said that, because love looks like sometimes the things that you can't voice, having the patience for when you can't say it, and still stepping in and doing those things. Because Jesus did that. We weren't here to say, can you save me?
Yeah.
He was like, I'm going to just step on this cross real quick.
Absolutely.
Even though, but be honest, he was like, Lord, if it's your will. Homie knew the plan before. He was like, if it's your will, nevertheless, take me now. But no, I love that you said that. I'm sorry. I just love that you said that, because I don't want to rush past that. Like, I want to talk about love and what it really is in all forms. And sometimes love is just stepping in, proxy for the moments where you don't have it.
Oh, absolutely. And I think we all can agree that we know mental clutter causes physical blindness. Literally.
Does it? Okay, let's talk about that. That's why my girls are here, because they've got the research and the science.
Yes.
No, seriously. So you could literally just like be blinded by things. Because mentally you just can't conceptualize it.
Literally.
What is that? What? How do you help someone through that?
Well, for me, I explain it like I'm studying the brain, and when I was learning about the hippocampus, I was telling my mentor, my professor, I was like, it's like the post office. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, because that's where all your memories and stuff go through. And I was like, oh my God, what's the post office like during Christmas? Jam-packed. You're going to get your package late, right?
Yeah.
And it might get lost because so much stuff is going through there. That's what mental clutter looks like. And if you're not healthy, you don't have enough people working at the post office to sort your mail. And so you'll find people to put your mail in certain areas and stuff like that. Even in your house, if you think about where you put junk, in crevices and stuff where you can't, out of the way, right? But the thing about mental clutter is that as you start to clutter that up in the post office, they can't do anything. So you can't even pay attention to, hey, it's an emergency, or hey, it's clutter, there's a path. You'll make one and you'll make it work because you're used to functioning in chaos.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. That's the whole thing.
That is crazy.
I love that analogy.
I
literally was coming. I was gonna say all the psychological terms, and then you came up with the analogy. I was like, I like that better. I like that better. So yeah, all of what she said. Okay. So we like to take the clients through a process of decluttering. So we're gonna be, some of these workers to help come sort this mail out for you, and that's the process we like to take, because it literally, is a direct reflection of what's going on inward. When your outward is messy, it's a direct reflection of what's going on inward. So if you got piles and piles and piles, I say, okay, let's work with one pile. What pile you want to work with first?
Yes.
Okay, up here. What we got going on?
Yeah.
Okay, what's at the top? That example.
Thank you.
At what point because now I'm not just asking questions. I'm going to go back to where we were at, but because I really want to give people like tools. At what point though is it in the beginning, in the middle, in the end, once they've sorted out their stuff? Because you think about like the relationships, if people are in a relationship, if they're married, or if they're, have a roommate, or if they have children, at what point while they're going through the decluttering process, do you say, okay, this is how you outwardly communicate that? Now that you understand what's going on, at what point, or how do you do that? Like, how do you say to other people, I'm going through decluttering right now in my life, I need you to be patient? Do you do it in the beginning, in the middle?
For me, it's in the beginning,
Yeah,
because it's like, let's recognize what's happening right now.
Okay.
Because when you start to lie,
Yeah.
it's also how we don't bring God our weaknesses.
That's
right.
right.
And so God can't heal
Yeah.
you when you're pretending.
Absolutely.
Right? He's not going to heal an actor.
That's
He's going
right.
to heal Tiffynee
Yeah.
and who
That's
I
right.
come to. So if I don't tell my client, hey, we need to tell your wife that you're not liking this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And she might be like, well, she doesn't listen. Doesn't matter.
Right.
The point is that you got to start verbalizing it to a point of that. And then it's also teaching our clients to use better words.
Absolutely.
When I talk to my mom, I remember one time I was like, you're just confused. I ain't confused.
Yeah.
Well, you know me, definition queen. Hold on a second. This queen, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
I'm not that. Then I went into another word because the Holy Spirit will pull out words for me just to look up. Then I went into another word and said the definition, and she said, well, I might be that. And I said, sis, that all connects back to confusion, but because the way you've been taught the word confusion, it comes off of you being crazy, something like that, and it's really something, you have something distorted, it's twisted, it's not clear for you. And she was like, it's not clear. And I said, because you're confused.
And to further give my point, you're confused.
So giving people tools like that, and then having them say what they truly mean, and then asking them to ask the person what they heard them say.
Yeah.
Because now
That's
I need
the
to make
thing.
sure that the sender and the receiver are both working.
Yeah. That is a really big thing. I like to do communication chairs. It's
Okay.
a concept. Is that right? Come on with the tools. Communication chairs. You have to learn how to be the sender and the receiver, the speaker and the be quieter. Okay? Be quieter. Like, no. And so that needs to be a thing that you practice. So I have them sit. It's a whole thing. One sits this way, the other one sits this way. So literally, you're at ear level.
I'm gonna take that
learn how.
one.
So you can learn how to speak and hear like you're supposed to. So as the speaker is speaking, you're listening, and then the person will give you an opportunity to say, "Hey, what did you hear?" And you're only supposed to repeat back what you heard, not what you thought you heard, not what your little synopsis is. No, what you heard. And then the speaker will say, "Yes, that's what it is," and you give a resolve. That is something I teach. You have to give a resolve. You can't just give them a volcanic eruption of all the things that's hurting me and blah 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 blah, and then they're left like, okay, well, what do you want me to do about it? And then you get up and just leave them there. No, you have to actually come, and that is love too. Giving them a way to come meet you at the capacity that you have.
It's that grace.
Mm-hmm.
I think people don't realize you can't really have love without grace for yourself and for another person. It's really, really hard. You know, we were talking about that earlier off cameras. Love and grace have to walk hand in hand for there to be some level of understanding. I love that. Okay, so I love this. Okay, this is so great. But now I want to get into like some little juice, because y'all my girls, and I love you guys so much. But I will say, outside of self-love, my next most difficult type of love form is the vulnerability with friends, and managing my expectations, my love expectations with my friends. And I can say that because you and I, we've known each other our entire lives, right? But now we're developing our own type of relationship. And so there's an outward expectation from like our parents and other people for us to be here. But no, we're really we're getting here.
Mhm.
Like we're there. We're growing in our own way. And then just like in our friendships, right? It's like you want to put so much emphasis on like, this is my girl, so she's just supposed to know.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be vulnerable and you have to be open. So like when it comes to like developing your friendships, what has been like your biggest lesson on your expectations in love and just being present in your friendships? Like how do you manage that?
I always say you can't expect you out of your friends.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes we go into friendships with this expectation, like they should already know what I like. I mean, we've been friends all this time. You should already know. But no, you have to vocalize what you're needing and then teach them how you need to be supported in those situations and see how y'all can meet in the middle and not take certain things too personally because you know, I may need you to be there for me through my hardships, but do you have the mental capacity to be there for me? You know, and being able to understand that. Like, we both got things going on and we're meeting in the middle.
Yeah. What about you guys?
I suck at friendship.
Girl, no you don't. Anyway.
I actually have to be very honest. That is... Okay, this draft, 2022, God gave me a good draft.
Okay. I came in the 2022 draft. I made it. I don't know what I was in spring selection.
But for me, it was, I had to actually go back and redefine friendship for me. I had to refinance some relationships. And like basically how you refinance a home, go back and kind of look at the credit history and all those things and what the current interest rate and the current interest rate was attached to what was I putting out, right? And what was I having, the extra I was having to put out. So outside of Tiffynee, that you would just get, hey girl, what was I having to put out? And so a higher interest rate for me is me constantly having to reach out, do stuff, right? A lower interest rate is that it's mutual, right? It doesn't feel like it's work, right? And stuff like that. And so even just reevaluating that, but then also going back and saying, number one, I didn't pray for these friends. So I let them come in off a vibe. Oh, it's a vibe.
Dang.
Ooh,
hold on. What?
Let them come in on a vibe.
Yo.
It's a vibe.
On a vibe.
And it's funny because you said you had to pray about who you had in this.
I did.
That was something that, because, and just to even go into a little God talk, growing up, I became unfamiliar with what prayer life looked like because it was the way it was taught. Right?
Facts.
I'm thinking that I have to go in this closet or I got to go to the church or whatever, and God's just saying, call me on the phone.
Right.
Yes.
Right? Call me whenever you have a question, right?
In a car.
Right?
You know?
Anything. And so recognizing that because I didn't have that, I didn't know what that looked like, there would be times where I didn't think that I had time enough to pick up the phone and call, hey God, is this person, am I supposed to be the friend of this person? I'm just like, hey girl, we good.
Yeah.
God is okay.
Yeah.
My mom knows I go out with everybody on Fridays, right? And not even recognize, like, no sis, you still need to ask if you can go.
Yeah.
And so understanding what that looked like for me first, and then creating a filtrated system that actually funneled out people that were bad company that corrupted my good character. Right? Because that was another thing where I was just letting everybody in and not really having things that were like, oh, this is. So it was like, if you were pretty, all pretty friends, right?
All pretty friends.
That was a low level requirement.
Yes.
Right? And then wondering why she got drama and I don't want to deal with that, right? But then not realizing that I lacked friends with integrity.
Right. Right.
So it was, I didn't love myself enough to make sure that anybody that was connected to me would actually be accelerating my purpose and me going into my destiny. And that anybody that's around me adds or subtract, right? Whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
So some people will subtract some of the bad things out of you that they need to, right?
Maybe they snatch it.
Right? But some of those people will subtract good things out of you as well if you don't know what that looks like. And so for me, that's been a struggle and stuff because I'm like so attached to that. It's say it again.
Philea.
Love, which is wanting to be validated by friendships when you're abandoned early on by family.
You know what? One thing, it's so funny that you said that. Remember when we were riding together in the car? And so we had just got back from Dallas and we were going on our way to your house.
Right.
I had never had someone go, I want this friendship, but maybe the timing isn't right now.
My friend, that was a good one.
And it made me go,
I did.
I want her even more. And so that's why I was like, I prayed and God was like, no, this is the time.
Yeah.
Like, you're ready. Like, you're ready. I had to be made ready. I might want to cry.
Oh.
No, but you don't think about that. Like, you never pray and go, God, make me ready for this friendship. Some relationships we go, oh, the timing wasn't right, da, 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 if it comes back. No, but we don't pray about our friendships.
That's an advantage she was talking about, taking advantage of yourself.
Man.
That's it.
And I was like, at first I was like, okay, I really thought like we connected. we were backseat singing.
Yes, we had all the jams.
We were jamming in the car. And we shared water. She introduced me to her sister.
I did.
You know, I just thought we were going to be great. We exchanged information.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I got your information and God was like, did you hear what she said? And I was like, I'm not going to rush this. I'm going to wait. And so when I prayed about it, God was like, it's time. And I didn't realize, though, where I was internally.
Right.
I would have messed this thing up a long time ago. You would have been like, Tiffany, don't introduce me to nothing. And what confirmed it was I realized that you guys were friends.
Yeah.
Because even with you and I, we could have reconnected a long time ago. And God was like, no, you're not ready. And it literally, I feel like it had to be in pecking order. This one had to get me together. It had to put the mirror up. And Tiffany even hit me with some, like right now, this conversation that you and I are having, we can't have right now because you're not ready to hear it. And I was like, I was going home like, I know she did. But God was like, no, there's some things I need to work out of you before you can start developing those friendships. So when you said that, I was like, man, God, it's coming like full circle. Because it's an internal thing before it's external. And we don't realize that we don't really seek God when it comes to the type of friendships that we get with. And then we get mad if we get into bad business situations with them, or we go to brunch and then we found out they was talking about us, or, you know, who knows what, you know. Anyway, you know, but it comes down to that. And so I'm happy that you said that because I see that in real time happening now. Like, this wouldn't happen, guys. It wouldn't happen without prayer. So I'm happy that we're in this moment. So, okay, are there any other moments? Because I'm excited.
I just love it. I like that you shared that because it means so much to me. I mean, because like on the other side of you feeling that way was the other side of my obedience, and that was part of my thing.
Oh.
Yeah, and so I could have easily been like, yes, we were vibing.
Yeah.
Water.
This is it.
I like her style. She's pretty and everything. Like, why not?
Yes.
Why not?
Yeah.
And no, guys, like, no, you gonna do like I tell you, or you not.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fight you on it. But you can find yourself back in a no reciprocity relationship.
Yes, and I would have been a taker.
Yeah.
I would have been a taker.
Yeah.
And I think there was even a season for you and I, like, we're coming out of that season where God was like, no, I'm doing some things for Tiffany right now. And right now where you're at, you're in a pouring season, and I'm the only one who can pour into you right now. And I don't need, and yes, you're one of my purpose friends. I've prayed about you since day one. You were my girl. But I would have sabotaged that situation, and it wouldn't have been out of love. I wouldn't have been receiving from you out of love. I would have been desperate for whatever I needed to fill my cup. And God was like, no, Negro, I'm trying to do some things inside of you. So I need to kind of put her behind a wall. She's still there. You can reach her. But I need to hide her behind a wall because I'm working on you. And I don't need whatever she's praying about to me now. I don't need that turning on her, right? Because if you're praying, God, fuel me, give me authentic friendships that are pouring back into me in the season where I need to be poured into, and here I come over here taking. like, he's gonna be like, no, I love her the same way that I love you. And so I'm gonna fulfill her promises too. So when you said that, it all clicked because we don't think of that as a form of love.
Yeah.
I appreciate your honesty in that because that's hilarious that you say that because I didn't know. I knew our friendship was getting to a point where I didn't know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, God, don't do this to me again. Because I know you put her here and I know I heard you, right?
Yeah.
And so your transparency and your vulnerability to even just say that and say that you recognize that because God did pull me away into into a season of like, you can watch everybody. I want you to call and check on people randomly, right?
Yeah.
She'd be like, oh, it's funny that you called. And I'm like, the Holy Spirit.
Right.
Out of all the people, I'm like, let me call Crystal and stuff. And so recognizing that you're able to do that. But I think one of the things I'm very now aware of is like understanding what type of container and season container I am, right? Because if you're toxic and you're trying to pour into me and my container cannot expand or like they say you can't pour new wineskins into old wineskins.
It's gonna burst.
It'll burst. And so recognizing that I have to also identify what type of container season I'm in.
Absolutely.
And stuff.
Absolutely.
Man, that's
Everything's about identification. You have to know, and that's a part of that self-love. That's a part of the friend love. You have to know. I knew that I was in the season of, if it's not reciprocity, I can't do it.
Yes.
That's just where I was, and I'm not adding anything else because that's where I'm at, and that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
And when God is trying to build something back, or what was the word you used earlier, to put back together?
I never
Refinement.
Refinement.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes. And the definition.
He's refining you. She was like, girl, I don't know.
Lord.
I just let him flow.
All the
What
R's.
did I say?
Refinement. Restoration. Restitution. All of it. Whenever he's trying to put some things, because let me tell you something. When things happen to you or happen for you, sometimes you find yourself in these fragments. Fragments of yourself. So pieces have been gone out to this friendship that you wasn't supposed to be in, this relationship you weren't supposed to be in, things that you went through in your childhood. So you got fragments everywhere. And God is like, no, baby, I got you. I'm going to go back again, because the Bible says that God will restore your soul. Your soul is your mind, your will, and your emotions. And so everything connected to these people or places, he has to go back and put it back together and say, oh, I got you. And so if you're in that season of refinement, restitution, restoration, all the R's, you can't add other friendship no matter how much you want it. And they may be real good people. Real good people. But if he's trying to do something in you, you don't have the capacity to add something else, because you will find yourself with leech friends.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Drained.
Fully.
And you're trying to help. Well, God, I used to be the friend that everybody can go to. You're not right now. And it's okay. It's okay. That's still a strong feature. Just
not in this season.
Not in this season. This is not the season for
be
that.
the strong friend.
Yeah.
Okay? So, and I will add, I wanted to say this earlier. If you identify as the strong friend, and I have a thing about that, but if you identify as the strong friend, and it's okay, I would encourage you to ask people, because for you, it's hard for you to tell people no, or tell them you don't have the capacity, or even when people ask you the question, how are you doing?
I'm good.
It's easy to say I'm good. You don't really actually answer that, because you're the strong friend. I actually have, and you lie. Right, it is that. No, it's true. It's so true. And so instead of that, I actually have my friends say, how can I be there for you today? Or how can I be there for you in this moment? That actually helped convict my heart and actually helped me get to the next level of telling the truth. And I anyway, telling the truth every time, not just sometimes. Because even in myself, my genuine self, I don't want to lie just to lie. I will just formulate this thing in my head. I know what they're going through. I know this happened with their child, blah, blah, blah. So in me, I'm going to pull back and I'll be like, well, I don't feel like they have the capacity to do that.
Right.
So I'm not going to tell them how I'm doing. Or or maybe I'll save it for later. And so I asked them to ask me, how can I be there for you in that moment? So strong friends, ask your friends or community that's a great way to be loved.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times it's not how I'm doing I can give you a good, but it may just be what I need in the moment.
Yeah.
And in that moment, it may just be a hug.
Yeah.
In that moment, it may just be a, girl, I see you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're doing a good job. Like, earlier, she was just like, I see you. And I was just like,
Do you, girl?
melt. Melt, okay? But it was everything I needed.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need a whole bunch of. I'm used to being able to put on the coat and do it. But when I do need, I need you to be able to do what I need.
Well, can I ask you guys, what do you need in this season when it comes to love?
Ooh.
I almost said something.
Look, I was gonna say something.
Say it. I mean, you
No,
can
I
see
was
it.
gonna
You
say
say it.
something.
Y'all say it, because I'm.
Oh.
All right,
Tiffany,
Brandon. Your wife said she needs some.
He already know I've been on it.
What that
She
thing
will say
do?
something
Y'all be like this? Room temperature.
Look at the room temperature.
Or high.
So okay,
It's recorded.
ask us again.
Yeah.
What do you need?
What do you need?
What do you need in love right now?
I can honestly say for myself, I have been getting it. So what I asked for, God has really shown up for me as far as friends. Like I really have. He's been giving me the words to be able to formulate the capacity of what I need to ask.
Got it.
And so because that's been, as long as I'm obedient and doing that, that's what I've actually been receiving what I've asked for. So I can say that.
I'm pretty sure I'm receiving what I probably had asked for. I'm just trying to figure out, like, for me, it was actually acceptance.
Yeah.
And it was acceptance from, I'm currently writing my next book called Dear Little Me.
Mm.
And it was acceptance from just hearing my parents say, I'm proud of you,
Mm-hmm.
right? I love you. Because that wasn't something, so I'm constantly always saying it, but hearing them say, my daughter's amazing, and da-da-da-da-da, right? And, but then also God refining the idolatry in that.
Mm-hmm.
And saying that I'm still your father, because I think there's a scripture that says, I don't care if it's your mother, your father, whatever, I first, right? And so God's saying, can you handle this without being able to pour too much into that, where you're constantly like, look what I did, look what I did, look what I did, and then God's saying, but I'm the person that's giving you that. And so for me, it's been acceptance and being able to balance acceptance in my love, because I knew I was great, right? But I needed the people that birthed me to say that, because one thing I recognized is when I was young, I never heard really great things about their pregnancy or my birth. It was like, oh, you were here, and it wasn't nothing bad, but it was like there wasn't like no joyous story. Like, I found out I was pregnant, and like, and so understanding that now and getting that, little Tiffany needs to be healed. In order for big Tiffany to kind of go through her stuff. And so as my parents are giving me that, right, it's God reminding me, I made a promise to you, and this is what a promise looks like when it's kept.
Oh, hallelujah. Come on.
I love that. Look at y'all waiting on me.
What you got, Jimmy? No. I love it. What am I going to add?
Well,
follow up.
I'm going to be a little transparent here.
Come on.
Crystal just kind of spoke to the strong friends.
Come on,
and
strong
I'm the strong friend in my group.
Oh, well.
So I got to be a little bit transparent, right?
Come on, strong friend. You
Well,
got it.
in this season, when I am needing,
Yellow.
I'm needing, I'm in a transitional season right now, where I'm in this season where I can no longer pour out. Okay. So, but I am needing, and this is in my prayer, and I'm allowing God to guide me in that. I need individuals that can pour into me.
I got you, girl.
Girl.
Open your container up, girl.
Listen.
Like, I can pour non-toxic stuff now. I can pour some non-toxicity into you now.
I
love that.
Yeah, and kudos to you.
No, seriously, for
real,
saying that.
We know. We probably, all of us on this couch, we are typically the strong friends. So, I got you.
It's rare that anybody asks me, how are you doing, and what do I need to do?
Literally, because we are the expected.
Yes.
We are expected for the love, the grace, the mercy.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What do
I
you
love
need?
Yeah.
You know what? I needed this.
Oh.
No, y'all not gonna make me cry. See, this is when you can tell which one does not study sex. Because I cry about everything.
Listen, I cry about everything.
I cry about
everything.
everything.
I cry about everything.
I am in this open flow part of my life. What I need, I'm getting it right now. I think I'm here. Like, I'm very much, you know what I need? Okay, let me stop lying. I do need one thing. I need to know that if you need me, you'll reach out.
That's so big.
That's it.
I like that.
No, I really do need to know that. Because I'm here and I've been really just here with me for the past few months, and I think for the next year I'm gonna be really much here, and I don't want to get blinded, right? Because now God is doing the work, and I see myself, and so I'm no longer hiding from what's going on here. But I don't want to get too blinded in my own world and become egocentric. Like, I don't want to tip on the other end of it, where it's like, I've done all this work for me and I don't want nobody to taint it, right?
Yeah.
You know, I want to still remember, no, I have a purpose, and my purpose is to make sure that purpose is fulfilled in other people's lives. And so, like you just did now, I need to know if there is a moment that you need me. And I'm going to say, if it's in my capacity, then I'm going to be able to do it.
That's right.
But if it's not in my capacity, then be like, all right, so I can briefly, I'm throwing it up for you. But I do need that, because that is kind of my reminder that, no, this is what your purpose is. And, you know, I don't need you to try to, well, you don't do this anyway, but I don't need to be needed, but I need to know that if you need me, that I'm there. That's all I need. And I need y'all to keep serving all year.
That we can do.
Y'all are gathering me, because it's fully everything here. So can I ask you this last thing as we wrap up? Because I know this is definitely going to have to be a part 2 situation.
I was about to say, I already felt it.
I know.
I'm feeling a love conference. Am I feeling a love conference?
Listen.
You know, I'm feeling a love retreat somewhere coming around here.
Put
you
it
know.
on, girl. I got chills. Look at my
Oh,
arm.
no, y'all get too. I'm like, no, I wish you guys could feel, and I don't want to over spiritualize, but I wish you could feel the spirit that is in this room. It's so peaceful.
Yeah.
It's not, there's no trying. You can definitely tell it's authentic, and I'm feeling it right now. So I love this. But can I ask you guys, what is love?
What is love?
Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more.
We all just did that.
I know.
Look at it.
I know.
Okay. Oh my
Main character energy.
I love it and love it.
That
Love
is
it
so
and love it and love
funny.
it. You know what? I think that if you formulate a definition, there's so much to it, because there's so many pieces that drives it. It's definitely not just a feeling. It's definitely action. It's action.
Yes.
It's action. There was a word, and I felt it when I thought it, but it's not coming out.
Okay.
But it may come back to me.
You want me to add?
Go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say, I can't define love outside of the regular definition that Webster and the dictionary says. What I can tell you is how I exhibit love.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And the way I exhibit love is through grace and mercy, but then also through obedience,
Right.
through the reverence, the deep reverence that I have for God,
Yes.
right? So Him putting me here for a reason and saying, I want you to be able to pour into people.
Yeah.
And being able to also be my true vulnerable self. So when people know that I don't necessarily don't have anything to pour, but what I'm pouring, or do you want it? Right? And so the way I exhibit love now is asking people if they're open to receiving something that I have instead of just giving it.
That is so
not violating
good.
someone's boundaries.
That is
I've
so
got
good.
this, give
And
it to
not
me.
not violating hers. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much wisdom and love for herself for that.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot. That's the thing. That's the thing.
Come on, Holy
You're
Spirit.
upset because you keep pouring and pouring. You're like, God, I'm so drained and I'm so overwhelmed and stuff.
Yeah.
Who told you?
Exactly.
Like, if they don't receive it, that is them.
Yeah.
They don't want it. That is them. You can't make somebody, you gonna force feed them your love,
Exactly.
and then you talk about don't hurt me. You're hurting them, and you're hurting yourself.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop that foolery. Like, don't force feed people. Like, they it will be effortlessly done so well, so efficient, and so fluid when you allow yourself to sit in the present moment and you ask, hey, are you ready to receive this?
Yes.
Because it's just gonna flow. If they're ready, it's gonna flow and it's gonna hit. And when that thing is time to activate, oh my God. And that person's gonna be changed and transformed forever. And it's gonna look so awesome because they were ready. And I tell my clients this all the time. Don't put your hands out there and ask God for nothing if you're not ready to receive it.
And carry it.
Yes.
And carry
Thank
it.
you.
Like,
Yes.
you're like, oh, the sign of
You're like,
I like this guy.
Oh,
Butterfinger.
It's too heavy.
Right.
He's like, are you ready?
Take this
You gotta
one.
think. Yeah.
I think I am.
Right.
And
Right.
I actually want to go a little bit further on something that she said, is that when you love people and they don't want it, it's abuse.
It
Oh,
is.
yeah.
It is.
And we don't think that because it's love.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because you think, like, I think about all the times I sat out somebody's house and waited for them, right? Thinking that my love
Right.
should show you that I'm here,
Yeah.
right? But really, it's abuse because it affects their mental thinking.
Mhm.
And we don't recognize that because
Yep.
we think that because whatever we're giving is so kind and
Yeah.
kindred and oh my God, and it's
It's
coming
just
from a good
Mhm.
faith.
Mhm.
But if I'm worried that if you're sitting outside my house and now what reaction am I going to have to do? I'm now giving you anxiety, right?
Yes.
Fear of the
Yep.
unknown, right?
Mhm.
Or depression because
Yeah.
you can't express to me that you want me to go.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you don't want me to off myself, right? So
right.
it's understanding that when you're giving something, and I had to recognize I was abusing a lot of people.
Mhm.
And some of the friendship that I said I wasn't doing well in is because I was the abuser.
Wow.
Mhm.
Because I thought that I had something so powerful,
Mhm.
right? And I'm like, I can fix you, I can help you, I have it.
Mhm.
I can get
I have it, yeah.
Right.
It's your fault if you don't receive it.
Right? And then you
Right.
start becoming the victim and you get
Mhm.
defensive.
Mhm.
Were
And
they
I-
being, were
yep.
they being honest to you about, hey, I don't want this right now?
No, they weren't. And
Yeah,
so it really
that's
was
the
like we were in a gaslighting situation.
Mhm.
Where you don't even recognize, and some people
Right.
use those words out of context
Yeah.
because they're in a situation it's toxic. But you can be in a healthy friendship and not knowing that they're the gaslighter and you're the abuser,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because they won't tell you, oh yeah, that helped me. Oh, thanks for the
Yeah.
advice, right? When I'm not doing that, Tiffany get on my goddamn nerves, right?
Yeah.
And stuff like that, or it becomes some type of where you're really having spiritual domestic abuse,
Yeah.
domestic violence, right? And you don't even realize it because you're constantly like, I'm gonna give,
Yeah.
because I'm spiritual and the Lord loves me. And they're like, but I don't, right now, me and the Lord are not even talking, right?
Mhm.
And sometimes we think that we're the reason that we can get a conversation started, and God is. Then you're asking God, did you pray about that? Did I tell you to do that, or did you
Yeah.
do that in your own power for acceptance, validation,
Right.
and a pat on your back?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Man.
It's a lot.
What is love?
They said it all.
That part. It's all that.
She said they said it all.
No, but seriously, I was sitting here like, you know what? For myself, I've always piggybacked off of that verse. We all know it. Love is what?
Patient.
Love is patient. Love is kind. The action part, but then it's not always so linear like that. With just only actions, right? How you're receiving, how you're communicating.
It's not boastful.
Right. It's
Yeah.
not boastful. All of that.
Yeah.
That's how I use for my own like overarching
I like that.
definition of love. Yeah.
What is love without the action? Sometimes love is no action.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's the patience.
Girl, have some kids. You're gonna be like, pick somebody else.
Get somebody else to do it.
Pick somebody else.
Get somebody else to do it. It's not me.
Am I really equipped? Where's my capacity? Like, yeah.
Well, I do want to say thank you guys for being here with me today. I'm super excited. I think to have this conversation, it was beautiful because there are a lot of people who don't get to have words for what they feel, the uneasiness that they feel. And uneasiness doesn't mean you need to end things, it just means you need to correct it, right? Like you have a headache, doesn't mean you chop your head off.
Right.
Take something, go drink some water, go eat something, you know, maybe I got some sleep. Maybe you cried, maybe the light is, like, it's fix the problem.
Right.
And I'm happy that we had this conversation because some people need to just know, okay, I can just fix it. Oh, it's simple as what? Just telling them, girl, I ain't got it. Or, I need this.
Yeah.
Or, Mom, I need you to not do that with my kids. Or, guys, right now, I'm not that, right? Or, I am here. I'm ready. I'm actually ready to be in this season now, you know? And so, I'm super happy that we got to have this conversation. Can you share with everyone how they can find you, what platforms you guys are on, what you guys have going on? Because these girls are, okay. This is like $1 trillion
That's
business,
right.
global businesses sitting right here.
Put it on me.
And they all offer services. So, you know, can we talk a little bit about where they can find you?
Absolutely. So on Instagram, you can follow my counseling page at Cherese Inspires. Then I also have a lifestyle blogger page, C__Allen, ALLEN. And you can also find me on YouTube, CALLEN channel, where you will receive like a lifestyle, blogs, conversations, and so much more there.
She's so cute.
I know, she's so cute.
Y'all so cute.
I love her name. She does the best reels. And all like,
No,
like
she
you
literally,
know,
and
she's
she
so
can
cute.
dance.
Yeah, she can dance. Like literally,
okay.
she can dance.
Yeah, she can dance.
She does the challenges. I'm like, she's so cute. I love it. I can be found. Listen, find me. No, just like I can be found on Insta. Yeah. I'm sorry. Okay. I can be found on my my business Insta is Therapy Ain't for the Week. And all of the words are _ in between. Okay, so therapy _ain't _ okay, you got it, right? Therapy Ain't for the Week. That's the one you're gonna get more therapeutic tips. And then my personal page, which is open, and it's pretty lit. It's Light Up the World, and that's light, LYTE, Light Up the World. And I'm on there. You can also go to my website, chatswithcrystal.com, and there you are able to book me as a speaker, and because I do speaking engagements as well, let me encourage you. Also, any sessions as if you're needing therapy, coaching, counseling, I am your girl. I can help you with those things. So either one of those, you can find me.
Yeah,
I just love her.
Because I do speaking.
I do sing too, but I speak.
I am Tiffynee, so you can find me at Tiffynee Renee, and it's TIFFYNEE with a Y and 2 E's. Renee, RENEE. You can find me at sisisatyou.com, Tiffany.com. What else? Yeah, I'm just your girl, so if you want to hit me up or just watch anything I post just to get in check for a moment.
And since we're at the beginning of the year, you've got those New Year's resolutions. She has fitness gear. Come on now. Not only does she offer services, she's products.
She has her stuff is quality product.
I appreciate you guys.
Yes.
You can follow Frisky Femme on Instagram or friskyfemme.com and check out and shop there.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me.
Of course. And of course, guys, it's your girl, Charlie. And thank you so much for being here with us. If you liked this, make sure that you share it with someone. Also, make sure that you subscribe if you're not a subscriber, because I get views and I need subscriptions so that we can continue to be relevant. Amen. So if you just follow, So, I mean, you can subscribe and turn on your alerts. So you'll get an alert every time that a new episode drops, and you'll be a part of the gang. You can follow me on Instagram at HeyCharliy, and that's HeyCharliy. Thank you, ladies, for joining me.
You're welcome.
Yay! Thanks.
Man, you know what? When you were saying something about, not